One of my biggest fears unfortunately became a reality. Get ready with me, story time. Over 5 years ago, I actually used to work at a grocery store in my city. At this job, I first started off as a grocery bagger, and then I moved my way up to be a GM, which is a general merchandiser. So I basically restock products, and then I shortly made my way to becoming a clerk, which is another word or term for cashier. I do want to mention, when I became a clerk or a cashier, I was working at that job for maybe like a year. I was about to hit like a year. In my opinion, when you work at a grocery store or somewhere where you're helping out customers, kind of start to get a feel of who your regular customers are. It was a weekday and I was working in the afternoon, and this guy came in my line. And again, remember I said I do recognize regulars? Well, I just knew that this guy wasn't a regular. At least I had never seen him. So this older man comes into my line, and in my opinion, he's one of those guys that if I were to see out on the streets, I would probably like turn the other way. Not even like that I'm judging the way he looks, it's just like the way he was like looking at me, like it was an evil look, if that makes sense. Like it was scary. Like me being alone and I see that, I'm running the other way. This man is next in my line. He had one item. He asked me like the most like random question. He was like, hey, do you know where this item is? And I was just like, oh, it's like right behind you. I don't know, it was just like weird. It's like he knew, but he still wanted to ask me. And then the second weird question that he asked me was, what is my name? And if you work at a grocery store, you're always gonna have a name badge, so it was just weird that he asked me for my name. I do understand if you want to get to know me and you are a regular, you're going to become a regular at the store, you kind of just want to have a conversation. But the way he asked me for my name wasn't just like a normal conversation. It was kind of like, oh, I want to investigate you, who are you, one of those type of conversations. Kind of just let it be, and I was like, all right, Ash, just move on, just scan his order and get him out of here. He was the type of like customer where he would just like look at you, scan his order, like he would just like stare you down. And personally, when I go to a grocery store, I don't even like look at the cashier. If I do, I'll like glance at her, but nothing where I'm like staring at her, like creeping her out. Anyway, so that guy leaves, and then later on in the night, I think I was working like a 12 to 9, and I remember this guy came around like 9 o'clock, almost time for like me to clock out. And one of the girls comes up to me and says, hey, like there's this guy, he's looking for you. And I was like, who? Like, do I know who he is? And she was like, I'm not sure, but like he was describing somebody and the only person that fits the description is you. And I was like, that's a little bit weird. Also, I do want to mention that I was in the break room at this time when she told me that this guy was like looking for me. Me being me, I was like, who's this person? I want to go see who it is. But I'm a very observant person. I'm also a very like paranoid person. So I was being sneaky about it. I would kind of just like peek a little bit, or I would go up to like the office and I would kind of try to see from the office out to the store. Sure enough, when I spot this man, I was like, dude, there's no way this is the guy that I had the weird encounter with earlier in the day. Okay, like that's weird. Why is he asking for me? Like, I'm not getting good vibes off of him. I felt very uncomfortable, and I feel like one of like my biggest fears is always like having a stalker. I feel like that's just any girl's fear, is having a stalker, right? I refused to go back out on the floor, and he ended up leaving. And tell me why the next day he comes back and I'm at the register, and one of the girls comes up to me and she was like, hey, like I think that guy is back, I recognize his car. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, that guy who asked about you, he was like, I don't think he's walked in, have you seen him? And I was like, no, I haven't seen him yet. Why? She's like, okay, I'm gonna switch spots with you, you go hide. And I was like, oh my god, like there's no way this is my reality right now. So thankfully she let me out of the register. I ended up going in the very back to like the milk box area, and there's also a medicine room. So I literally hid in the medicine room, and I was like, bro, there's like no way that I have a stalker right now. Like what in the actual fuck? Before my coworker actually let me out, she told me to stay nearby the back phone in case he leaves, that way I can come back out. And I was like, okay, cool. So I remember she ended up calling the phone, and I answered, and she was like, hey, like this guy's looking for you again. And I was like, are you serious? And she was like, yeah, like he's looking for you, and I don't feel like he's looking for you for a good reason. It's like, because it's been an hour and he's still in the store and he still hasn't bought anything. She was like, usually if you're gonna be in the store for this long, you at least have a cart full of groceries. I'm gonna probably have to wait until after closing for this like man to leave or until I'm able to leave. So to keep my mind busy, I ended up leaving the medicine room and I went to the milk box, which honestly is still in the back, but when it's in this corner and the milk box is on the other side. And so I just started filling up milk because I was like, oh, I'm gonna be back here, let me at least help the closer out. I'm filling the milk up and I just see like a hand right there like grabbing milk or faking that he's gonna grab a milk. And I was like, bro, there's no way this is my stalker. And so I look and sure enough, it was him. And I was like, oh, hell no. So I literally left the milk box area and I went back to the medicine cabinet or the medicine room. And I just stood there. I was literally hiding in between boxes. I think I even have a Snapchat. I might insert it if I do find it, of me literally hiding in the milk box. I was like, bro, I can't believe this is my reality right now. At this point, it was already closing time and we closed the grocery store at 11 o'clock. I was supposed to clock out at 9 o'clock, and tell me why I did not leave the grocery store until almost 12 in the morning. I left that late because this man's car was still in the parking lot. He had one of those car vehicles where, like, you know when somebody passes away, they have like that certain type of vehicle they put like the casket in and the person in. Yeah, he had one of those. Yeah, when I seen that he had that type of car, I was like, oh hell, I'm not about to walk out, and the last thing I need is for him to know what kind of car I drive. This guy finally leaves and then I end up leaving as well. As I'm on my way home, I decided that I wanted to go to the gym, and the gym to my job was only like 3 minutes away. It was over the bridge. I walked into the gym and I went to the squat rack, and tell me why I seen my stalker at the gym.
Get ready with me while I talk about my stalker story. I've honestly been waiting like 2 years to tell this story because it was kind of scary. We didn't want this person to see this video or find where we were, but I think it's been long enough now to talk about it. Also, ignore my self-tan hands. Really, I haven't figured it out yet, but we're working on it. This started back in 2021, September, end of summer. I just started dating my boyfriend. We were sitting on the couch, drinking wine, just made some dinner, and we heard the doorbell ring. My boyfriend got up to answer the door. We weren't expecting anyone, so it was a little weird. He answered the door and I just hear this female voice talking. I looked around the corner because I thought it was kind of weird. There was this lady in her 30s, it looked like. She was wearing a black tight dress and really tall heels. This lady had a bottle of tequila in her hand and she handed it to my boyfriend and she was like, I'm so sorry for the noise last night. I live in the unit directly below you. We were doing construction and I just wanted to bring this bottle of tequila to say sorry if it disturbed you guys at all. We were confused because we didn't hear any noise the night before. We were like, okay, it's fine. Like, thank you so much. It's okay. Don't worry about it. A few days go by. It's morning time, really early in the morning. We are just waking up, getting ready for work, and we hear the doorbell ring again. My boyfriend's roommate answered the door. I heard a bunch of commotion. So I open the door and I look outside and I see my boyfriend's roommate like shoving the door closed on this lady. So obviously it was the same lady as before. She had showed up at 8 in the morning, rang the doorbell, and she was wearing nothing but a towel, like completely naked in a bath towel with her hair wet. And she was trying to come into the apartment. She was like, who's there? Is it just you guys? Is it just you guys? And he was like, yeah, like what, can we help you? Like, what are you doing? And she tried to shove her way into the apartment and my boyfriend's roommate had to slam the door on her and basically yell at her to get out. We didn't really know what to think of it. We thought maybe she thought they were cute and was trying to shoot her shot, and then she was pissed that they wouldn't let her in or something. We kind of just like let it go at the time. About a month goes by. Me and my boyfriend are getting ready to leave to go get sushi. We open the door and we look down and there's a folded up piece of paper on the doormat. We pick up the piece of paper and it is literally Morse code. A piece of paper with sentences on it, with punctuation, with lines and dots. I literally have a photo of it. Like, it was a Morse code note. I took pictures and videos of this entire ordeal that I can post, maybe. There's honestly so much to this story, so this is like a summarized version, but yeah. So on the way to sushi, I'm like looking up Morse code on my phone and I'm like deciphering this note. I finally got the whole thing decoded and it said, "Who are you and what exactly do you want from me? I'll be back in 30 minutes. We didn't really know what to do, so obviously we went to dinner. We were kind of expecting that when we got back there would be another one, and there was. Morse code note number 2. If you truly want me, call me. I no longer trust you. We obviously had no idea who this person was, so we weren't responding to the Morse code notes, but it basically became a series of Morse code notes from this lady. She kept leaving them at the door. This was like a week-long thing. Every night she would leave a new one. It would always happen at like 6 or 7 p.m. Like, here's another one. I don't understand. I will accept Tony, Leandro, or David. They need to call me today. And then just like some random stuff at the bottom. And then there's 3 more. The next one said, are they dead? I don't care if they moved on. I want to make sure they are alive and well, exclamation point, question mark. As for the other gentleman, I am not a prostitute. I need to get to know them first, nor your slave. Also, throughout this whole thing, kind of left out this part, she would come to the door and ring the doorbell over and over and over again. Ding, 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 ding. We wouldn't even answer the door. Like, we were scared of her, so we wouldn't even open the door. Most of the time, we would just stay and hide and be quiet. She would ring the doorbell over and over and over again, yell stuff through the door, and leave these notes. She randomly left a note that had the alphabet on it, and then when we opened it, she stopped using Morse code, and she actually wrote in English this time. I don't understand, and unless you are specific on terms and whom you're suggesting, I don't get it, so I won't choose. FYI, you don't own me, and don't think for a minute that I forgot you were trying to ruin me. How can I ever trust you? P.S. The problem in my dreams was that. No open borders. Also, the way she was writing in that looked like someone who is clearly frantic, like it was scary. At this point, we know that we're dealing with someone who clearly has mental health issues. You never know what someone's capable of, so we didn't want to make the situation worse. So we kept ignoring it and leaving it alone. This whole thing basically started a series of months. This lasted like over a year. She would bang up on her ceiling at us with a broom at all hours of the night, like in the morning times, night times. But there was a period of time where she would come every single night and ring the doorbell over and over and over again. Here is a clip of how she would ring the doorbell when she would go crazy. I honestly have so many videos of that I can show a different time. But yeah, at this point, we decided to call the cops, told them what was going on. We asked them to come down and tell her to please leave us alone. Submitted a police report. We showed them all the notes and everything. And they would come down and they said that they would go knock on her door, but if she didn't answer, they couldn't do anything about it. We had called the cops multiple times because this kept happening. Even when they would come, like nothing would change. She would still do it again and they would do nothing really about it. They would say, we can't help you guys until she actually does something to hurt someone. One of the last interactions that we had with her, she came to the door, did the ringing the doorbell thing again. At this point, we would open the window, the kitchen window, because we could see out by the door. We'd open the kitchen window and be like, please leave us alone, go away, like leave us alone. We would yell for help from the neighbors, being like, help, this lady is like harassing us. One of the last interactions that we had with her before we moved out and everything, she came to the window and she told us that she thought that we were paid actors and that we sent paid actors to her door. The cops were paid actors. We were paid actors. And that we sent paid actors to her door to harass her. The whole time, she told us that we were harassing her and we needed to leave her alone. She told the cops that we were harassing her. We needed to leave her alone. Clearly, she was just mentally ill, which we understand, but also we were being harassed, so it was a lot. Here is a clip of one of the last times how violent she got with ringing our doorbell. It was bad. It was really bad.
She's hiding. Oh my god.
So yeah, that's that. I can honestly talk about this for so long. I have so many videos. I have a whole album in my phone called Stalker that has every video and all the info about this, so I could talk about it forever. So yeah, let me know if you want a part 2 of my stalker story, but that's pretty much the summed up version.
Okay, part 2 of the story time of how I was stalked as an RA by one of my residents. So in the last video, I told the backstory of the job and then of the resident. We call him Mason. And I ended with him sitting across from me with the Bible, flipping through it, and calling me exotic and wondering if I had met him before. So I told him that no, I didn't know who he was. We'd never met before. And then I tried to do a little bit of small talk to see like how everything was going with him and his roommate to kind of see, like, suss out if there was something going on there. And he told me that, things were going well. And he said that he had a feeling that things were going to get a whole lot better soon, which was kind of a weird comment to make. So I felt awkward again, and I kind of just made an excuse, like, to leave. I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go to bed now. And I closed my door again. So then, like, not even 10 minutes later, he knocks on my door again. And again, he's sitting across from me, like, with his Bible. And this proceeds for, like, the next 2 hours, where he would, like, have some, like, casual, like, fake casual pose, like, against the wall with his Bible. And he would just, like, ask me a bunch of random questions about, like, myself, and then about, like, I don't know, the school as a whole, and things like that. And again, this happened for like 2 hours, and I was getting annoyed, obviously, and I was really, really tired. But in my head, I just kept thinking, like, it's my job to, like, interact with him. And I was really, really worried, again, for, like, his mental health. Like, I still had that warning bell of, like, I don't know if he's suicidal. I don't know if there's something else going on. Like, so I kept answering because I was hoping he would, and I kept asking him, like, if everything was okay and stuff like that, because I was really just thinking, like, maybe he's, like, suicidal right now, and, like, this is, like, a way for him to, like, interact with someone so he didn't, like, hurt himself. So I was, like, kind of trying to suss that out as well. And then things started getting even more creepy. So the next time I opened the door, instead of being across from me, like, on the wall, like he had been the last couple times, he was directly in front of my door. So I only opened the door halfway, and I, like, just waited inside my room this time, to see what he wanted. He had, like, this frozen smile on his face, like this. And he had his Bible in his hand, and it was, like, really, really creepy. And I was, like, a little bit scared now. And he kind of goes, "So I have a question for you." And I was like, okay, what's up? "What do you do when you have impure thoughts about somebody?" You stop thinking about them and go to bed. And then I hurry up and close the door. Like, I was so creeped out. So before he had done that, like, in my head, I was thinking, like, so I'm definitely going to have to, like, talk at my next one-on-one meeting about, like, this weird incident. But after that comment, I knew, like, oh no, I'm not going to wait till then. I'm going to, like, talk to them in the morning, like, at the meeting, pull my supervisor aside and, like, tell him what was going on. By this time, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. So I only had about 2 hours left until that meeting. So I decided just to wait until then instead of, like, calling the on-duty person. Because, mind you, this whole time I'm not really feeling unsafe. I'm just feeling a little unsettled. So half an hour goes by before I hear the knock on the door again. In the meantime, during that half an hour, I kept hearing this really weird noise on his side of my room, like the wall between our rooms. I could hear this, like, weird noise. Like, it kind of sounded like someone, like, moving their hand, like, back and forth against the wall like this. And it just kept going for, like, that entire half an hour. So I found out the next day what that noise was. Well, kind of. And I'll explain that later. But in the meantime, when I opened the door this time, he was back to standing a little bit back again. He wasn't directly in front of the door as much now. And he kind of had, like, this sheepish look on his face. Like, he's kind of, like, looking a little guilty, like, hmm. And he was like, "Oh, my ped's not working." And so what the ped was, it's like a personal entry device. So the way to get into, like, the dorms, the elevator, and to get into the bathrooms was with your ped. And for the residents, their peds only worked for, like, their floor, their like, the boys only worked for the boys' side bathroom, the girls only worked for the girls' side bathroom. But for me as an RA, my ped worked for every, like, way that you could get into the building, both bathrooms and everything, so we could check during the duty nights, to make sure everyone was okay in the bathrooms. So because spring break was happening, I assumed, like, maybe his ped wasn't working because spring break was starting and, like, they cut off access during that break. So I knew my ped would work. So he asked me to, like, let him into the bathroom. So I said, okay. And I started to walk out. So again, like, the way as I explained in the last video, it was kind of a square within a square. So, like, the rooms were the outside square with all the windows and stuff. And then the inside square was, like, the hallway. And then my room was in the middle, of the hallway, so you had to turn the corner on the boys' side to get to the boys' side bathroom. So as I'm walking along with him, I'm trying to walk next to him, but he like started walking slower, so he was walking behind me instead of next to me. So as we got closer to the bathrooms were like in the inner part of the square within the square. So they didn't have any windows or anything either, but they were in the middle of the dorms, kind of a thing. And they had really, really big, heavy doors. So I was really scared. Like, I didn't know if he was going to like push me into the bathroom or something. I don't know. So I started walking faster and like kind of walked to the side. And then I opened the door and let him in to the bathroom. Well, when he like was walking past to get into he walked up next to me and he like got really, really close to me and he whispered, he was like, thanks, and then went to the bathroom. So now I'm really nervous. So I like rush back into my room and I lock the door to make sure the door was actually locked this time. And I was sitting in bed and not even 5 minutes later, I start hearing that weird like rustle noise against my wall again. So now I'm like terrified. I couldn't go back to bed and I was just kind of laying in bed in the dark and I was trying not to cry because I felt really uncomfortable. Now, mind you, this whole time I still was answering the door and doing all these things. And at this point, now that I'm uncomfortable, but like he hasn't directly done anything specifically that it would like, I didn't feel like he had done something specific yet to be able to warrant like calling immediately if I only had like less than an hour before I had to go down to my meeting. So I was like, it's not that big of an emergency that something needs to happen. I'll just say something then. But I was very uncomfortable, obviously, and unsettled by what he was doing. So then 20 minutes pass and I hear a knock on my door again. And this time it's around like 5:30 in the morning. So I only have half an hour until I have to go to that meeting. So this time when I answer the door, instead of being like my friendly self as before, I'm like actually annoyed and scared and kind of tense. So I answered the door with a quick, "What?" He looks like taken aback and he was like, "Oh, I just wanted to thank you for letting me into the bathroom." And I was like, "It's no problem, since it's my job." And I literally said it like that, like with the emphasis of like, it's my job. And then I was like, I'm really tired and I have a busy day today. So if you have nothing else to say, I'm going to go back to bed. And he looked kind of sheepish again. He goes, "Oh, okay, well, good night." So I closed the door again and I locked it again. And then I got dressed for the day, and instead of going into my bed, I just like laid on top of my covers and waited, since I knew I was gonna have to get up in like half an hour, and just kind of like closed my eyes and was just sitting there. So then 5 minutes pass and he knocks on my door for the last time. So this time when he opens the door, or when I open the door, he's standing directly, like again, really close to the door, and his hands are behind his back. I could tell he was clearly holding something, and now I'm like actually scared because I'm like, what is going on? So I hurry up and I shut the door again till it's only open a little bit, like just a tiny crack, and I like brace myself in case he like tries to push into my door. And I had my hand ready to like quickly lock it as soon as he if he tried anything. So like my heart's beating super fast, and then he just kind of looks at me and he just whispers the name. He's like, "Hallie." I'm like, "Yeah." And then he asked me some random question about scheduling for the next semester. But he was kind of acting all fidgety and weird. So I'm like really scared to see like what's behind his back. And so I like nervously just kind of answer his question. And then I go to say goodbye. But then he shows me what's behind his back. And and he goes, "Did you slide this under my door?" So I go into fight or flight mode. And luckily it was fight. And I was like, "Are you kidding me, Mason? Why would I slide that under your door? Stop knocking on my door unless it's an emergency." And then I quickly shut the door and I locked it. That whole time he had like this really creepy smile on his face. And so now I was like, oh no, no, like this is actually an emergency now. And I'll tell you what else happened in the next part.
Hey Pookie, so don't mind my voice. I'm actually so sick right now. But I want to talk about a really crazy stalker I've been having now for about like 5 years. And I just feel like I just need to do this video because it's gotten really like intense, and it's gotten to a point where the world needs to know. And also like for my own safety, like if anything happens to me, y'all know exactly who did it. So it goes way back to when I was dating an ex. So not my last boyfriend, but the one before that. So one day, basically, he just comes up to me and he's like, hey, like, just warning me about this girl. He's like, oh, look, like, she's delusional, this and that, yada, yada, yada. Like, I just want to let you know, da, da, da. Like, he just gave me a warning about her. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, in my head, I'm like, no girl's gonna be crazy for no reason. Like, you must have did something, you know? Like, you must have did something to make her crazy. But turns out she's just crazy for real. So boom, fast forward, why does this girl text me? Like, she DMs me, right? She DMs me like probably like a week later after he warned me, and she's like, she basically just sends like her pictures next to my pictures, and she's like, she starts going off on me. She's like, you're copying me, this and that. Like, babes, is this high school? Like, we are grown. What do you mean I'm copying you? Literally, she goes and she screenshots her pictures, and then she screenshots my pictures, and she's like putting them side by side to each other, and she's like, look, you're copying. Mind you, some of these pictures I had taken before she even took. So I was just like, bro, is this girl crazy? And at the end of the day, like, we all post the same on Instagram. Like, you know, like, I get inspo all the time from girls or whatnot. Like, it's not that deep, you feel me? But if I got inspo from somebody, baby, it was not her. Like, it was not her. But whatever, she was delusional, and she kept putting my pictures side by side and just going off on me. And then she starts talking about my ex, like how my taste, this and that, like just going crazy. And I'm like, whoa, this girl is insane. Like, what is wrong with her? Okay, so boom, whatever. Like, I tell her off. I'm like, leave me alone. Like, you can have the guy. Like, at this point, I'm just thinking, like, you know, she's being boy crazy about this man or whatever. So I'm like, you can have him. Like, I've been done with him at this point, and like, we weren't really together at that point. So it was like, whatever. Like, girl, bye. Like, leave me the fuck alone. So whatever. After that, fast forward, I don't hear from her for like a little while. Okay, so then whatever. So then now I get with my last boyfriend, right? So I get with my last boyfriend, and while I'm with him, like, I'll get like little like threats and shit, like from text-free apps, and like, you know, like, oh, that's why I'm gonna keep your man, this and that, da da da. And like, my intuition always told me it was her, you know. Like, I was like, bro, like, what the fuck, is this girl still like harassing me and stuff? So my intuition always told me it was her and stuff. But whatever, I didn't have proof of that, so I was just like, I would literally not even entertain her. Like, I wouldn't even entertain the messages. I wouldn't do any of that. Okay, so this is like our first encounterment. Boom, she's there like posting. This is like her showing my picture, and then her picture, and then my picture, her picture, and like that, right? Okay, cool. And then she's just talking crazy, swears I want to beat her, but okay. So okay, so fast forward to the recents. Let's get into the recents. So recently, hold on, I'm trying to think right now, because what happened first? Oh, okay, so fast forward to recents. My man now. So okay, so he tells me, he's like, yo, like, this girl's thirsty as fuck, like, because she literally DMs him under like a selfie he posted, and she's like, oh, is it packing though? Some thirsty ass shit like that. So he shows me, and I'm like, no fucking way this girl is still like following me around. Like, what the hell? It's been like 5 years now. Like, what is she doing? So whatever, he obviously, my man now, like, he's a good man, Savannah, so he was not with that. Like, he showed me, he told me everything. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this girl's so weird. So me, out of curiosity, I go on her page. I don't know if me going on like her Twitter page or something really like she got a notification. Like, I don't know. So that sparks curiosity in me. I go on her Twitter page. Why, when I'm scrolling through her Twitter page, there's a picture of her dog in like me and my ex's apartment. So me and my ex's apartment, like, her dog is like on the couch that I'm sure I wasn't living up there at the time, but like, you know, like, her dog was in the couch in the apartment. Like, I know the apartment, I obviously lived there. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, she was fucking with my ex too. Like, what the fuck? So whatever, I was like, okay, yeah, like now this girl is really creeping me out. Like that's crazy. But that's not even the worst part, guys. Like that's not even the worst part. So like I said, I don't know if she got an alert or something that I went on her page and like, I don't know, like I definitely didn't like anything or nothing like that, but whatever. Next day, a whole fake Twitter account is made up of me, right? It's a whole fake Twitter account made up of me, and like she's basically putting pictures of like me next to other girls. Now she's comparing my pictures to like other girls' pictures and then saying I'm copying other girls. So like she's doing that. Like there's a lot of that, and then there's like pictures of like, because my man had took me to like her mess or something for my birthday, and like I posted it up, and she posted up like a picture of a rapper or something, and she was posting like his pictures next to my pictures or like things I would do, and like basically trying to say like I was out with him. But my man obviously knew like he was the one doing all that, so he was like, what the fuck, like this girl's weird, like why is she posting that? And then the creepiest thing ever, she posted a picture of, no, it was a video. She posted a video of me and my man walking in my building garage. So like I guess I was like, I got home, like she followed me or something. I'm like, yo, did this girl follow us here? Like what's going on? Like that is creepy. That is creepy. So yesterday she texts me my whole on address. She texts me my school's information. She texts me my mom's information. She texts me my date of birth, like all the information she has on me, right? And she's like pretending on a text-free app, right? She's pretending on a text-free app like it's her mom or something, and she's there like, oh, if you don't, everything she's doing to me, she's saying I was doing to her, like. And she's pretending to be her mom. And she's like, oh, stop harassing my daughter. I'm going to go to the cops. Da-da-da-da, this, that, and the third. I'm like, girl, please go to the cops so I can follow a restraining order on you, because you're weird and you're sick in the head. And what you're not about to do is play on my phone. So it's like, you got my address. You got everything. So it's like, bitch, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what is your issue? So, yeah, like, that is just insane. Like, I'm about to show you guys the Twitter receipts. Like she was comparing me to other girls. This is my friend's brand. Like anybody's gonna wear that. And it's just comparing like me and this girl. Like, girl, you're weird. Like anybody can go to the Mondrian. Just weird. And then tagging my exes on the Twitter page. Oh, and what she also did was she made that Twitter page and she went on my man's page and texted all his friends the link through a fake account so they can make sure that it got to him. Like, be messy. So messy. And it's just like so many more details in between, and like, oh my gosh. Like, if anybody knows who this girl is, I'm gonna show her picture now. All I have is her Instagram. I don't know anything else about her. Like, I just need a name, honestly. I can do so much with a name. But let me look for it. This is her Instagram. If anybody has info on her, let me know. Let me know, please. Because this is getting out of hand. Like, the threats, the harassment. Another thing is, like, I just want to know if she's doing this to anybody else, or does she just have it out for me?
I know it's been a long wait, but here's part 2 of my stalker story, so let's get into it. We left off with him telling me that he was doing a shortened version of the program, and I determined that he was actually just visiting Disney World and for some reason was telling me that he was planning on doing the college program. So he tells me that he really wants to meet up, and I tell him, like, I'm sorry, I'm really busy, like, it's not gonna happen. He keeps asking, but I make it very clear that it's not gonna happen. It also happens that he's visiting on my birthday. So on my birthday, we go to Epcot. It's my 21st. We're drinking around the world. I go to visit my friends and say like hi to all of them. And when I get there, I see him standing there, standing 5 feet in front of me. He's looking at all of the workers, like it looks like he's scouting, and I freak out. I'm just like, what is going on? He clearly figured out that I worked there somehow. And keep in mind, I was there with my family and my friends, but I just ran. Everyone follows me and they're like, what's going on? And I'm like, I literally just saw my stalker. So we booked it out of there and we left, and I didn't see him for the rest of his time that he was there. Then a few weeks later, one of his friends Snapchats me from his phone, and I say, like, can you please tell him that I'm not interested? Like, I don't know how to get it across to him, because like I didn't want to block him because I was scared like of what he would do. But she ends up telling me like, why don't you just block him then? So then I did. I blocked him, and I was like, okay, finally he's out of my life. Well, that wasn't true yet again. 3 weeks ago, I get a Snapchat from a random user. I have it set to where anyone can Snapchat me. And this random guy sends me nudes. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on? And like, I respond after a few days of him sending me nudes, and I'm like, do I know you? He ends up sending me saved pictures of himself and tells me his Instagram, and I'm like, oh, okay, like, cool. He says that he found my Snapchat on my Instagram, and I was like, oh, okay, that's like cool. He like starts telling me about himself, and I'm like, why are you just chatting me? Why aren't you sending pictures? And he tells me that I won't be into him. And I'm like, you looked pretty cute in the pictures that you sent me. Like, clearly something's up. Like, was that not actually you? He tells me that we know each other and that, like, he doesn't want me to find out who he is. And I'm just like, I'm assuming that it's someone from my high school because, like, that's happened before. And then eventually he decides to send a picture of himself, and it was the guy. He says that he wants us to start over, and he starts apologizing, saying, like, that he's changed and that, like he's a different person. And I'm just like, if you really reached out to apologize to me, then you wouldn't have tried catfishing me. So he asked to start over, and I'm just like, no, that's not going to happen. I even talked with my mom about potentially getting a restraining order, but we decided not to go through with that just because there was too much work, and like he lives in a different state, so like I didn't even know how that would work. But yeah, so let's see if anything else happens. I hope not.
Since I'm bored, I'm just gonna give a quick story time about the crib I moved in and how it's been hell ever since I've been staying here. So I moved in probably around June of last year, I believe, and ever since I moved in, my neighbor has been like weirdly obsessed with me. Like anytime I would come out of my house, she used to try to talk to me. Anytime I would fucking try to like walk through my house, she's always fucking knocking on the basement stairwell door, because we share a stairwell going down to our basement. So when she's in there, like she's knocking on my fucking door, like in the fucking stairwell. She never wants anything, bro. I don't know if she wants company. I don't fucking know. But anyways, I gave her my number and shit one time, and she would like text me long ass paragraphs saying, oh, I hope I'm not bothering you, this, that, and the third. Mind you, I'm like bisexual, I like females. So she'll say weird shit like, oh, I don't know why I'm starting to get this feeling that I'm attracted to you, but I don't swing that way. And I'm like, okay, bitch, what the fuck are you even talking about? Mind you, she's an alcoholic. When I first moved in, she told me how she does meth, like literally. They call it speed or some shit, but it's meth, like literally. She told me to my face that she does that shit, and I don't know why she told me that, because bitch, I don't do any drugs, none of that shit. But anyways, not too long ago, around October of last year, like a couple months ago, I let my mom and her husband move in with me, and everything was good so far, but the neighbor has just been wreaking havoc ever since they fucking moved in. Playing fucking karaoke and shit at odd ass times of the night, blasting her fucking speaker all fucking night, getting drunk, laughing, slamming doors and shit, fucking with my mom and shit. And I told my mom to not talk to that lady, don't speak to her, but of course she still did, and now it's just a problem every fucking time I see the neighbor. The neighbor told the office on me on how I was letting my mom and them stay with me, and all types of weird ass shit, just causing problems that aren't even there. It's like, lady, what is your problem? No one's bothering you. Like, I don't know if it's a racial thing or what, but it's so fucking weird. Like, she just would always fuck with me and do weird ass shit. And yesterday, she was fucking with me again because my mom and them moved out like a couple weeks ago, and they've been moving their stuff out of my basement, and the neighbor's just been accusing them of stealing her stuff and all type of stuff. Mind you, my mom has never been no thief to me, neither has her husband, so why the hell would I even think, why would I incriminate them? she went to say, oh, they've been stealing my stuff and you know about it. Oh, something's going to happen. It may not be things that you can't see, but oh, it's in the works. But I'm just saying, like, anything that's formed against me shall not prosper, because Lord knows that I haven't done anything. Lord knows I don't even know anything. That has nothing to do with me. Like, come on now. Like, okay, do whatever you want to do. It's not going to work, because first of all, I'm not a fucking thief, and you're high off of drugs and you're alcoholic and you're in my face. Y'all should have seen it. I'm just so ready to move and start over. Like, I don't know why the fuck I get these weird racist ass crazy ass neighbors all the time, but the shit's starting to get fucking weird. It's like I can never have no peace. I can never just be to myself, be in my home and be comfortable and feel fucking safe. It's like I don't feel safe here, and I'm so ready to go. Mind you, I would do little favors for her. She'll knock on my door at like fucking like it could be 1, 2 a.m. Oh, Neve, can you help me move a table in my basement? Can you help me move a couch? I did all of that shit. Helped her fucking hang up a huge ass flat screen TV for free. For free. Did not ask her to pay me. Did not do anything. She hasn't helped me with shit. And it's like, lady, like, it's some weird she has some weird racial fucking motive going on. Then the fucking other weird part is how the bitch would literally be talking about how people are gang stalking her, right? Mind you, probably 3-4 months ago, one of her Facebook pages popped up on my People You May Know. I blocked it. Then, not even a couple weeks ago, another one of her fucking Facebook pages popped up in my People You May Know. I'm like, bitch, you're the fucking stalker. Like, you keep fucking stalking and harassing me. You've been harassing me since I fucking moved here next to you. Like, bro, we moved in at the same time. The bitch is weird. Weird as fuck. Trying to incriminate me, stalking me, texting me weird ass shit, making fucking Facebook pages. Why do you need that many pages? Like, you keep popping up in my People you May Know, and I don't even know how the fuck you found my page. Like, I don't feel safe. It's weird. But I'm so ready to move. I've been praying. It's like, bro, I just pray God just lets me find a place and just be at peace, finally, because I'm sick of this weird ass shit. But yeah, that was just a quick little story time on what the fuck I've been going through for the last couple months.
Y'all, I have a stalker, and I'm scared for my life. Okay, backstory. So, this girl has been stalking me. Yes, it's a female. Has been stalking me since August of last year. Before August of last year, actually. So, backstory. I had a boyfriend, right, last summer. It wasn't supposed to happen. The relationship was not supposed to happen. It was really just like a summer fling that turned into something more, you know? So fast forward, whatever, we're dating or whatever, and he tells me about this ex that he has that's kind of crazy, that he broke it off with her and they don't talk no more. So I believed him, and he actually did show me the messages and everything, showed me that she was blocked and all that, saying that she was going to ruin his life, whatever. And then he had posted me one day, and I guess she responded to him, or like her spam or something like that, and was like, you lucky I'm having a good day, or else I will ruin your relationship. So I really didn't think nothing of it, because I'm like, I'm not intimidated about that girl. Like, she don't live where he lives. Like, I was not, like, I didn't care. And he said he was done with her, so I believed it, and I took his word for it. So we're dating, whatever. And we broke up around August of last year. But this girl didn't know that, right? She didn't know that. So before we broke up, right, this girl literally was stalking my every move. She didn't follow me on social media, but obviously she knew my page, because my page pops up places, and I was commenting on his pictures and stuff like that. So y'all, this girl literally freaking, mind you, she lives in Miami. I live in Miami. My ex-boyfriend lives in Maryland. So this girl literally would go on my page, look on my shit, and literally this girl literally found out what last check I went to and started going to her. And mind you, me and this last check, I don't go to her no more, but me and this last check was really cool. Like, we was like hanging out outside of like her doing my lashes and stuff, so we would talk on a personal level. Yeah, why does she find out what freaking last check I went to and try to get information out of my last check about me and my ex? Like, my last check would literally tell me everything. Like, she was asking about this. She said, first of all, she told my last check that she knew me. Like, we were friends or something. Like, and so I'm like, huh? Like, this is not my friend. I don't know this girl from a can of freaking paint. Like, I know that she's my ex's ex, but nothing like that. So after she went to my last check and started freaking going to people that I was getting my service providers from, like my service from, I'm like, oh, this girl is weird. So then I started to see this girl outside, like out in Miami, because I would be going out and stuff like that. I would see this girl everywhere. Everywhere I would see her, she would be staring me down like a psycho. I seen her at the bowling alley. I seen her at this outside of this little lounge thing. When I seen her outside the lounge in Wynwood, y'all from Miami or live in Miami, y'all know Wynwood, whatever, Dunkanu. I seen her right outside Dunkanu, and I was with my cousin and I was with my friend. She was with her friend. As soon as she seen me, she turned to her friend and was like, oh my God, and like started laughing. Like, you know, like it was so obvious that she was about to tell your friend you see me. But I'm like, is it giving fan or is it giving stalker? Because I don't know. And I seen the girl out again. Y'all, I recently just seen this girl out last weekend, and we was in a section. I don't even know how she got in the section, first of all. But she was in a section with me and my homeboys or whatever. And I didn't see this girl the whole time because I was in a section the whole time. I didn't see her the whole time. So I'm like, and she was standing beside me the whole entire time, y'all. I didn't even realize it was her. Like, it's crazy. And then as soon as we about to leave the section, she taps me. She's like, oh, I think I know you. And so I'm kind of like lit. So I'm not even paying attention to nobody's face for real. So I turned to her. I'm like, no, it isn't you, bro. No, it's not you. Y'all, this girl literally is fucking stalking me. Like, I'm like, yo. So as soon as she was like, oh, I think I know you. What's your name? And I was like, Lara. She was like, oh, yeah, I know you. And I turned to actually look at her face. Y'all, it was her. And I was like, oh, no. And I literally, like, put my hand on her face and, like, left the section. But it's like, I'm kind of scared because why are you doing all this over a guy? Or are you just a fan? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't even date the guy anymore. Please leave me alone.
Part 2 about the story of my stalker. At one point, I started to get anywhere from like 5 to 10 per day of people just sending me screenshots that this girl had DM'd them or Snapchatted them or whatever. And the text was pretty much copied and pasted to everyone. But she was basically saying that I was stalking her and hacking into all of her social media accounts, and that she had a lawyer, and that I was spreading rumors about her, and that she was really scared. At this point, I felt it was necessary to reach out to the police at my school, which I did, and when I gave them a call, I explained the situation, and they said, yeah, so we've actually heard from her as well. When I tell you my jaw dropped to the floor, and I said, I'm sorry, she's reached out to you? I'm gonna give this girl the benefit of the doubt. I definitely think she was going through something, and I definitely think that she had some mental issues. Part of me is like, maybe she honestly did think I was stalking her. But obviously, like, I know myself, I was not stalking her. The reason that the police never reached out to me after she contacted them is because she gave them no evidence and was unable to support any of her claims. Me, on the other hand, you best believe I was screenshotting every single thing that everyone was sending me and just making sure that I had something to support everything I was claiming. And so after that, they could kind of tell that I was in the right and she was going through something. I was able to get a no contact order, but unfortunately that didn't stop her. She continued to reach out to people, as well as she started posting publicly on her social media pages for everyone to see. And so I had to contact a department at my school in which we had a hearing, and we both gave testimonies, and I think that's the right word, testimonies. We both spoke about our experiences and had to present evidence. The result of this hearing, I was only able to get back my verdict, but I had no idea what they decided as a verdict for her, if that makes sense. I was found not guilty of everything she was accusing me from, but I have no idea if they found her guilty of whatever I was accusing her from. They didn't tell me that. However, after this hearing, I was super happy because I thought it had all been resolved. But unfortunately, it did not stop. She continued posting and texting people. Every single time someone sent me a new screenshot of something that she had posted, I would send it straight over to my school and to the police. I remained silent. I didn't talk back. I just said thank you to the people who were sending me the screenshots, but I never posted anything about her. I never contacted her. I never tried to see her. At a certain point, I was like, nothing is being done, until one day it literally just randomly stopped. I don't know why, I don't know how, but it just stopped. I don't think that she still attends the school. I think she left. I hope she's getting mental help. Even if she still is at the school, I don't care. Peace is peace, so I'm happy. Something interesting about me is that every single person in my family has had a stalker. My whole family being me, my older sister, my mom, and my dad. I didn't really put two and two together that everyone had had a stalker until my parents and my sister were trying to give me advice on my own situation, that I realized, oh, so we've all dealt with a stalker before, cool. A big difference is that both of my parents' stalkers were of the opposite gender, versus me and my sister both had stalkers that were girls. So whenever I would tell this story, people would be like, hold on, she? For me, it all started in my freshman year of college. She was in the same class as I was. I think her and I had a total of maybe 2 conversations, if I'm being generous. I could tell that there was something just a little bit off about her. One of the interactions I had with her, I remember it was me and one of my really good friends who was also in the class that we had together. And me and her were just looking back and forth because she was making such weird comments and just acting very strange. That was the last in-person conversation I had with her before she DM'd me asking to hang out. And obviously, based on the first interaction I had with her, I personally wasn't going to be fake or lead her on when I knew I didn't want to pursue a friendship. Months go by and she texted me asking if we could get drinks or something. It was via Instagram DM, so I just never opened the DM until a couple months later. I finally opened it and saw a massive paragraph in all caps full of rageful text. I'm gonna be so honest, it was so incoherent and I couldn't even tell you what she was talking about. All I remember is responding, "I'm sorry, what?" ? And then she blocked me. At this point, I was super confused, but I was like, honestly, whatever. She clearly has something going on. I know I didn't do anything, so I just ignored it and moved past it. After this, I saw her a couple of times on and around campus, and she did not look well. Her hair was matted, her skin was so dry and peeling off. I don't know what it was, but she just looked so not okay, she was not taking care of herself. And every time I saw her, she avoided eye contact, she didn't look at me, she completely avoided me and ignored me. I just left her alone. If she was gonna leave me alone, I was gonna leave her alone. Summer came, I thought it was all over until about the middle of summer, I started receiving texts ranging from people who I went to high school with all the way in California and people who I had never even spoke to in my college. I ran out of time, so go to part 2 if you want to watch the rest of the story.
Story time. I had a real life stalker in real life. I've told this story on social media before, but I think it needs to be revisited because now that all these these people have platforms and people have stalkers, yes, it's severe online, but in real life stalkers are completely different. My stalker thought we were madly in love. I met my stalker when I went on a grippy sock vacation. This is important context to the story, y'all, so just hang in there. Your girl had decided she was done with life, she was working a full-time job, and the last person that was believing her about everything that was going on in her life just turned their back. So your girl tried to exit stage left at work. I went too far, and I had to go be impatient. The reason I tried to exit stage left at work was because I was assaulted at work. SA'd, if you will. I had a promising future in a career as a nurse, and I was an EMT working as a tech basically, and my whole life was ruined for me. All because some freaking ding-dong couldn't keep their hands to themselves. My investigation at work included identifying the man behind double-pane glass with HR in a separate building. And because the cameras near the elevators were down that day, They couldn't do anything, and they allowed the man to come back to work. The day that I saw he came back to work and I confronted, like, we saw each other in person, I crashed out. I'm not gonna lie, girl, I crashed out. I crashed out. All that being said, I earned myself a trip to the Grippy Sock vacation place. Now, this was a long time ago. I have grown. But, like, having a real life stalker is not cute. So anyways, I get admitted, and I am right at the cusp of where you would be a minor or an adult in this ward. I barely passed the adult part, so I was 18, but only by a few months. From my ward, you could see the youth ward, and I remember thinking, that looks a lot more like where I should be. I was super tiny and underweight and struggling, and I felt scared to be in a big group with a bunch of unstable adults. I was also unstable, but I was only unstable to myself. Like, I wasn't sitting here throwing chairs at people. And the nurses sat behind a glass box at the nurses station, like, fully, like, plexiglassed up, like we were zoo animals, and they were observing us. But that's neither here nor there. A bunch of kids eventually come in and get, like, intaken at the same time, and they're all my age-ish. Definitely closer than age than fucking, we called him Kitchen, because he took the sink apart while we were there, and his wrist. But definitely closer to my age than Kitchen, who was in his 40s and 50s. Regardless, what had happened is that I saw the board and all of us had S's next to our name except old boy. He had an H. Keep this in mind for later. H. What could H stand for in a hospital for your mental health? I'm gonna tell you in a minute, bitch. Hang the fuck on. So anyways, we're all vibing, hanging out, and it's like now less scary for me because there's people my age and we're all like comparing our stories and how we ended up there and laughing about how we ended up there. There was classes during the day to like better yourself or counseling classes, but I would opt out most of the time and sleep through them, mostly because they drugged me to the point where I was drooling on myself for the first 3 days. But regardless, when I finally did decide to rejoin society in Glassbox City, I would visit with my peers in the game room, which had like movies that you could put in a VHS, board games, etc. And we would just like visit. Your psychiatrist appointments lasted 15 minutes, and the psychiatrists were hell-bent that their medication regimen would work, and if it didn't, you were penalized. You weren't trying hard enough. You weren't attending enough groups. Regardless, who the fuck can get to know someone in their entire life's worth of trauma in 15 minutes? That's unrealistic. Anyways, after the 8th day of realizing that socializing with these other people that were just as mentally sick as I was, and they were lying just to get extra privileges I didn't have, like go outside, I started lying too. I'm not even gonna cap. My bitch ass was lying. We all get out and we do what we are not supposed to do. We exchange phone numbers. We start hanging out at my apartment. The day I got discharged, my parents really said, "Oh, have a great life, enjoy," and dropped me back off at my apartment with 9 medications as an 18-year-old. And we're like, best of luck. So anyways, we started having parties and hanging out, and this guy was more and more pushy with me. He was like, we're attracted to each other, would like make these blanket statements, and he would corner me and kiss me and like do weird stuff, and I'd be like, why would you do that? Like, I don't want that. Big fat trigger warning, he would continue to do stuff like this, and it would escalate to the point where I would think he was going to me. That being said, there was one day that like months later after we started hanging out and started having all these parties, that I felt like he was a safe guy. He drove me in his car. He respected that I didn't like to go fast. He respected the traffic laws. I did bring him to a family dinner so that my parents knew who he was, but he was missing housing and wanted an apartment. And my roommate had just moved out because she couldn't handle the stress of being 18 and paying half the rent. And after my Grippy Sock vacation and strenuous counseling sessions that I had to attend, I needed a roommate. With that being said, old boy was like, I need somewhere to live. And I was like, okay, I've got an extra room, I'll show you. After work one day, I was like, meet me at my apartment, I'll show you around. So he does. It's a townhome. You walk straight up 1 flight of stairs to the main floor, and then there's another flight of stairs. I called this my treehouse apartment because by the time you got all the way to the top with the bedrooms, it felt like you were in a treehouse. There was 2 bedrooms at the very top, technically the 3rd floor, with a Jack and Jill bathroom. We got there and I had a puppy at the time because that's what I decided I needed to better my mental health, was a companion. And I loved that puppy. I kept her till she passed away, and she died really early of kidney disease because she was poorly bred. That's neither here nor there. Regardless, she made a mess while I was at work because she was like 8 weeks old, and so I kept her in like a little bathroom with a baby gate, and I was planning on cleaning up her puppy mess. I drew up a bucket of bleach and we were in the bathroom together, and he was like, you're gonna regret meeting me. He then takes the rag that's in the bleach and slings it, and it hits me in the mouth and face. I had hung out with this guy an unholy amount of times, and I had never seen the look in his eye that I saw that day. His pupils were blown out as if he was getting like an adrenaline fix on this, and he looked like he no longer had a soul. I asked him, what does that mean? I'm going to regret meeting you. Like, he's kind of chuckling as he's saying this, but I have bleach in my mouth and near my eyes. He goes, I don't know, you're just going to regret meeting me. At this point, I become nervous because I'm the only one home at my apartment. I don't really have a support system to call, and he's watching me very intently. So I pass it off as it's okay because I realize now I'm in a dangerous situation and I need to stay calm. So I keep cleaning the second floor of my apartment as much as possible, but I didn't have much furniture and I really wasn't eating there because I was working, and when I went to work, I would buy food at work, and so there was not much to clean. Eventually we made it to the third floor. I show him the empty bedroom where my roommate moved out, and then there's nothing in there, so it's not like something you can just stand around and talk about forever. The Jack and Jill bathroom, and eventually we make it to my room where my bed is. He sits on my bed and notices there's nothing left to tidy. I keep my house pretty clean, and he tells me to come sit down next to him. He asks me if I'm ticklish, and I tell him if he tickles me, I will kick him in the face. He keeps making jokes about it, and I keep insisting that I don't like to be tickled, and I will actually hurt him if he does, and it's not going to be intentional. This is when he grabs a pillow off my bed and sticks it over my face and holds it down. I was on a lot of antidepressants and a lot of anxiety medications, and it kind of dulled the reality of what was going on for me. I just remember thinking over and over in my head, like, God, please don't let them find my body naked in the dumpster. That would be really embarrassing. That's what was going through my head. I just got out of this hard time. My parents are going to think I was doing something stupid with a guy, and I'm going to end up naked in the dumpster. And I could picture the dumpster I would throw my trash away at every day. For years, I thought he gave up or decided against his decision to keep doing what he was doing. But I recently processed that I think because I had stopped fighting, I remember stopped fighting and accepting that this was going to be my last day on earth. And when I stopped fighting, I think the only reason I survived is because he took the pillow off to see if I was still alive. I hopped up immediately and I said, what was that? Gasping for air. And he said, oh, I thought we were playing. I went to the furthest corner of the room with my back to the corner, and I had my phone, and I said, what was that? I just kept saying, what was that? And he said, oh, I thought we were playing. I think when I hopped up from underneath that pillow, he was just as surprised as I was. I then text my friends, the other two girls that I was hanging out from the Grippy Sock vacation place, and said I need help immediately. I knew they were hanging out together, so the person that lived far away was actually a little bit closer than normal, and like 15, 20 minutes out. So I convinced this guy, like, yeah, we're gonna live together, everything's good, can we just go to Walmart to like pick up some extra stuff? If extra people are gonna be living here, we need like extra stuff, like pots and pans and stuff. Like, I don't have enough to cook for 2 people. And he gets nervous about me using my phone and actually takes my phone from me. As we're walking down the house, I'm stalling as much as possible because I know it's gonna take a little bit of time for my friends to get here and help me. So I'm just casually talking about things in my home, and then when we get to the parking lot, I'm like holding his hand and pretending to be with him. Stopping to even kiss him, I think, at one point. Y'all won't believe what happens next, and I'm ready to tell everybody. I'm ready to tell the world. So if you liked this story, heart it, follow, and I will tell you all the rest when I get to 10,000 people.